Man like Robbie, welcome along to MLR Daily. It was a tricky game for Arsenal yesterday. Basically, if they lost that game, today Arsene Wenger will be clearing his desk at Arsenal. I'm sure of it. Whether the board would have wanted him to stay or not, the pressure would have been immense. But in the end, Arsenal cruised out in the FA Cup, winning by 5-0. It was a spirited performance by Lincoln in the first half. They really put in a dogged display. I was at the game and, they didn't look like a non-league team. They were really well organised. But once the first goal went in stoppage time in the first half from Theo Walcott, it was kind of inevitable what was going to happen. And then in the second half, the class shone of Arsenal. They couldn't deal with Alexis Sanchez. They couldn't deal with Mesut Ozil. And Arsenal running out 5-0 winners, and possibly could even have been more. So, listen, got to say, well done to Lincoln. The first non-league team in over 100 years to get to the quarter-final. It's been a fantastic achievement. They've beaten some big teams on the way. Burnley, Premier League team, away. They've beaten Ipswich. They've beaten Brighton, who were on the verge of coming up to the Premier League. So those Lincoln fans and Lincoln as a city as a whole can be really, really proud of what they've done. But Arsenal was just a step too far. In the other quarter-final, Manchester City were playing Middlesbrough. The intent was clear from Manchester City when the game started. When you saw the team sheet, strong lineup for Manchester City. And even though the score was 2-0, they took Middlesbrough apart. It was a very, very easy victory for Manchester City. And I was quite surprised by that lineup. I was commenting yesterday and saying that what sort of lineup will they go with? Because, they've got that game during the week against Monaco. But obviously, Pep Guardiola's targeting the FA Cup as one of the things he can win. And there's going to be some big boys left in that FA Cup because, obviously Chelsea are playing Man United. So one of them are going to go, but there'll still be one big team. Tottenham, I would presume, would beat Millwall today. So you could have a semi-final with Arsenal, Tottenham, Manchester United, Chelsea, and Manchester City. 4 out of those 5 are going to be in it, and that is going to be very, very strong and very, very competitive indeed. Premier League games were going on yesterday as well, and a big win for Bournemouth over West Ham. They came back as well from a goal down, Bournemouth, to winning the game. Winning the game by 3-2, absolutely entertaining game, and a hat-trick in the game by Josh King. And that was a much-needed win. Bournemouth now starting to move up again. They had a real tricky time, but obviously football is a game of confidence. The confidence that they gained from that draw last week away at Manchester United spilled out into this game, and a real good effort by Bournemouth, beating West Ham by 3-2. There was also a big 6-pointer, Hull City taking on Swansea. Again, another massive game with teams down the bottom fighting for their lives. It's really exciting down at the bottom at the moment because all of the teams down there are really, really battling to get out of it. It was a big win for Hull City, winning the game by 2-1. On loan player, Everton player, Omar Niasse with 2 goals, 2 big goals. He came off the bench and scored those as well, and that was absolutely massive. And in the other game, Everton beating West Bromwich Albion by 3-0. West Brom's tactics, by the way, was typical Pulis. Went there, parked the bus, tried to be ultra negative, got punished. Goals from Schneidlin, and yet again Lukaku on the goal scoring sheet again. That's 19 Premier League goals for Romelu Lukaku, and that is absolutely excellent from this guy. Remember, he's only a young player. How good can he turn out to be? He's an outstanding player. No wonder Everton have signed him to a new contract. Now, let's take a look at the bottom of the table. Now, Sunderland, they didn't play yesterday, but they're on 19 points. Middlesbrough, look where they are now. All right, they've got a game in hand, but 22 points. They're second from bottom now, and they are starting to look like a team that will drop. A few months ago, Middlesbrough looked in good shape, but they just don't score enough goals. They draw too many games. Hull City have moved up. They're third from bottom on 24 points. Palace didn't play yesterday. They're on 25. Swansea, that was a bit of a damaging defeat on 27. Leicester also on 27 from Bournemouth. You can see there that 30 points now. That's, I think, they're starting to look like they're going to be safe. That was a big win for them yesterday. Today's games is Spurs taking on Millwall in the FA Cup. As I said, you would have thought that Spurs at home. Maybe if it had been away at Millwall, I would have given Millwall more of a chance, but I'd be shocked if Spurs let this one slip. And Spurs, again, are going to put out a very, very strong team. I think a lot of the lower league teams are finding now that when you get to this stage, the big boys have stopped playing, right? There ain't no more youngsters and this and that coming out. They're sending out the big boys because they want to. The next step is Wembley. And everybody wants to get to Wembley. And everybody starts to sniff that, you know what, if we win 2 games, we've won the FA Cup. So expect a very strong team from Spurs. And, for me, it's a victory all day long for Spurs. And in the other game, Liverpool taking on Burnley. Now, you look on it, easy win for Liverpool. But we know what Liverpool are like. They'll smash up Arsenal last week. And then they'll come out against Burnley. And they'll drop points to a team like that. That's what they've been doing all season. I don't expect them, though, to do that. Burnley, their away record has been absolutely shocking. If it hadn't been for their home records, they would definitely be in serious relegation trouble. So I'd expect Liverpool to get the win in that game. And that will help Liverpool with Man United not playing, with Arsenal not playing, with Man City not playing in the league. Or Tottenham really, really helps their push to get into the top 4. So a vital game for Liverpool. Thanks for watching the show today. We'll be back tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow we give you Player of the Week. We give you Waste Man of the Week. So make sure you check it out here on Man Like Robbie.
Man Like Robbie.